We'd like to call this meeting to order on May 27th, 2026, regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the Palo Verde Healthcare District. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, liberty and justice for all. Can you join in watching football?
Started.
Present.
Director Sandra Hudson is absent. Director Jacqueline Randall Crowe.
Here. Okay, Ms. Gonzalez, the time is now yours for your board update.
Thank you, Madam President. There are currently no additions, no deletions, no corrections, and no notations, and no requests to speak cards were submitted. Thank you.
Okay, do any colleagues have any item they want to pull from the consent agenda for discussion? As a reminder, any consent items not pulled will be voted on in a block motion. All business agenda items will be voted on individually. Trina, is there anything you want to pull from the agenda or?
No. Thank you.
Okay, so public comment. Members of the public are encouraged to address the board of directors. Anyone who wishes to speak during public comment must submit a comment request card to the board clerk.
Madam President, pardon my interruption. We don't have any public comments.
Oh, I don't need to read this. Better yet. Okay. Number 3. Are there any board comments?
Not at this time.
Sergeant, any?
I can't hear anything. There's a lot of static.
I've muted Steve Sanchez for now.
Okay. Is there any, do you have any board comments, Trina?
No, I apologize. There was a lot of static. No, I don't at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Item 4, approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, call for the question.
President Garnica,
Aye.
Director Trina Sarden,
Aye.
Director Jacqueline Randall Crowe.
Aye.
Okay, reports, item 5. I would now like to turn the time over to interim CEO, Jennifer Cruikshank.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you again for joining us again, many of you. Once again, this hospital continues to serve as a lifeline for our community, a responsibility that guides our work every single day. Throughout the organization, we are committed not only to strengthening and streamlining our operations, but also supporting our teams and making steady progress to stabilize and enhance the hospital for the patients and families who deeply depend on us. Very proud to be able to serve that work too. We are experiencing meaningful improvements across our campus, from the infrastructure repairs that you are seeing from the room as you pass by, and if you come into the facility, you probably experience it as well. Facility upgrades, stronger community partnerships that are enhancing patient support and expanding access to services. These advancements would not be possible without the dedication of our staff, our partners, and our board members. I want to sincerely thank everyone for their commitment and their focus as we move forward together as one unified team to save this hospital. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Mike Masiska, who will share the innovative and exciting work that the team is doing in the emergency room and the progress happening with our physician team. Dr. Masiska, yes.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here tonight. I'm going to take a few minutes mainly to share from my heart and our passion here to serve the community of Blythe in your hospital. I try and live my life by a principle of no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And there are 16 hospitals in Riverside County that receive ambulances. And Palo Verde Hospital is the smallest, but it's critically important. And I would like to say that I've championed your cause to keep your doors open at many levels, and including in sharing with Jen, just as an ER doctor and working with all the medical directors of the emergency rooms throughout the county and with our EMS agency and with our emergency management department. We're critically aware of how important your hospital is. The distance, the geography, and your community make it a very special place. Didn't know how special it was. So when I was fighting to keep your doors open, I was fighting because I knew how important critical access hospitals are. I knew the distance, and I know that the practice of emergency medicine is one that's crucial to any community, to any vibrant community, to the success of any community. That when people have emergencies, they need to be seen by a doctor, and time matters. And so, I'm very pleased to share with you the progress that's been had, with RUHS's involvement, and sometimes I'm thanked for that. But we, since we got involved, we recognized some significant opportunities when it came to the physician side of the care. And in our efforts to support that, we acknowledged that, there were opportunities to make some big improvements. And so having our group come in now since May 1st, we had a 45-day sort of opportunity to try and build a team of doctors. And in about 10 days, we were able to get 25 emergency medicine trained physicians to commit to coming out and working in your emergency room. And so that is a big, and the number's a lot, and you may not always need a panel that large, but to get these physicians in, most of them had their schedules already built. And so this was work that they took on in addition to their normal schedules. And there were some key reasons that they wanted to do it. I think they share my belief in how important your hospital is. They also share the belief that having highly trained, capable people, and it's not just that they can do procedures and make good clinical decision-making. It's a standard that we set of compassionate care and empathy and listening to your nursing staff. And at RUHS and working with our nursing leadership and our CMO, we really try and say, look, is our doctors and our nurses that we understand that it's a team approach to care. And so that's something that we've really tried to bring. And as I recruited these doctors, I lost some sleep over it, just wondering how can we staff this very remote, distant place with high quality people? But I was overwhelmed and blessed. And probably there are some things I'm very proud of in my career. And this ranks up there because as I would recruit one doctor, two more would call me. And so they would call because the person that I talked to and shared the vision of what we were trying to do here to support your community would share that with their friend. And so most of the physicians came from RUHS, and Jen actually came, and we shared the vision of what we were hoping to do in your community together. And almost my entire group offered to come out and work some shifts. Some of them were even, hey, my schedule's really tight, but I'll do it if you need me to, type of thing. But then we started to get more folks reaching in. And so we have physicians from Desert Regional, from Pomona Valley Hospital, and from RUHS that have all jumped in and taken some time. I worked a shift already, and I'll tell you, here's the feedback that we're getting. I'll start with your nursing staff. It's just an overwhelming sense of appreciation and gratitude for the engagement that they're getting from the doctors. And we ask them, I want to hear both sides of it too, if there's opportunities or things. But the feedback has been tremendously positive. And from your patients, having the opportunity to have been able to deliver some of the care myself, is that they're aware of the work that those of you in this room and the leaders in the back are doing to keep their hospital open. And I think it's one of those things that sometimes when you have something really valuable and you fear that you might be losing it, that your appreciation and your gratitude for it increases exponentially. And that's what we're feeling as the doctors in your emergency room. As we're delivering care to your community, there's a tremendous amount of gratitude coming back to us. And so I think as our team, as they're working their shifts, they feel the appreciation from the nursing staff and from the community. And they're very excited to be here in partnership with you all in a part of the community here. And so that makes me very proud to hear the stories. And we do recognize all the time that there's opportunities. There's a lot of work to be done. There's workflows to be built and things to be streamlined, supplies like something with file on today, and things that we're still working on. And, you know, there are some things with emergency medicine that are important for your community to know. And that is that, you know, there are, it's designed, it is small space, and it is a lean staff, and it has to be that way in order to survive financially. But patients don't show up like appointments. They tend to show up in batches in the ER. We get surges. And so with that is we have to prioritize patients based upon how sick they are. And so it may not always be obvious based upon what somebody's complaining of, how they look and appear, that they need to move to the front of the line, and other people might have to wait a little bit longer. So if I could just sort of share a little bit of that perspective, because there are going to be times where the wait time might be a little longer than we want it to be, than our patients want it to be, but we try and do it in a way that is as safe and effective as possible. So I want to thank you for having me here tonight. We're very excited. This has been very rewarding for me. I was rounding with the team today, and we also see, because we take transfers into our institution. We had a pediatric transfer last week, I think, that Dr. Clark took care of, some major traumas that have been experienced. The level of acuity that we've experienced in the last 3 weeks has been quite high. And I'm proud to say, as I get details and the feedback, you know, the care is very good. We have processes in place where we'll be doing peer review, looking at quality measures, looking at performance measures, and a lot of those things historically haven't been to the standard that we would like them to be, and we're quickly getting them there. So thank you for the time. Jen, did you have anything else you want to share? All right, thank you.
You can add that feather to your hat, right?
Well, when it comes to service, you know, the thank you and the gratitude and the smiles, that's really what keeps us going. So, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so next we have, sorry.
Well, I didn't feel that part. I'm sorry, that's my spoke. I spoke. I really want to thank you on behalf of citizens of Blythe, our valley, and everything.
Yes, yes.
We'll be going next month. Yeah, put some money into the hospital. Yes.
I heard about that.
All right. Yeah. Onions might sweeten it up, so. But they're good onions, okay?
I tried one. It's pretty good.
Need more, let me know. Anyway, thank you, sir, for what you do.
Okay, so having that said, next I turn the time over to the interim chief financial officer, Mr. Zamora.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me okay? Just want to do a sound check. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for the time. Happy to be here presenting tonight. Over the past month, we continue to make progress on a variety of administrative and financial functions. I think I'd like to start with the financial statement updates. And as I bring that up, I can share, let's see, here we go. Our cash position as of a couple days ago was $6.8 million. I have brought up the April income statement. I do want to qualify, you know, we've only been working together with the Palo Verde team for 3 months now. But we are working to improve visibility, transparency, reporting, and accuracy of information. This will be a continuously improving report and process, but on the scale of kind of where we stand from an accuracy perspective, we're somewhere between the ballpark and the parking lot of the ballpark. So I think we're getting there, but we're not quite where we need to be. But I think we're getting enough information to get some visibility into what we're facing and what we have coming, and how the changes that we're making will progress over time. So what you have before you is largely a cash-based income statement reflecting the month of April. And for the month of April, revenues were 1.3 million, expenditures were 2.2 million, and net position for the month was a loss of 879,000. Year to date, revenues are 16.5 million, expenditures are 16.6 million, and the net position is a year to date loss of 154,000. The last column on this slide or this sheet is our projection for the year end on a cash basis. Revenues are projected to be 18.8 million. Excuse me, expenditures are projected to be 21 million, and net position is expected to be a loss of, or projected to be a loss of 2.2 million. I do want to say we know this is a little bit on the low end. It does not reflect fully accrued expenses and revenues. Our next goal will be to get the accounting picture on the accrual basis. Cash basis is one accounting view, but it doesn't match expenditures with revenues and with the services, the period services are provided. It's more tracking to cash going in and out of the door. I think the biggest example of that mismatch that we have today in this document is expenditures incurred but not paid while we were exercising bankruptcy protections and working through that process, as well as revenues not received for a variety of reasons. As we are working to put sort of that more complete picture together, the net position is probably going to be around a negative 7.2 million this fiscal year, heading towards probably,
Yeah.
yes.
Can you make it bigger? It's a visual acuity test for most of us.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, let me do that. I can work on
I
that.
can't see it. Thank you.
Hopefully
thank you
that's a
very
little better.
Yeah, that's good, yes.
Okay. As we work towards that, accrual view, the net position is probably going to come in around would probably be around 7.2 million this fiscal year, and possibly as high as $10 million on a full fiscal year basis next year. Before we, this is before we account for or maximize any operational or administrative efficiencies, rev cycle improvement opportunities. But it also doesn't account for some of the federal and state changes that are coming our way that will hurt coverage for our communities and the population served, including HR1. So we're working to keep piecing this puzzle together. We're working to account for all these items. We will keep this board updated as we progress. I did have a couple other updates that I wanted to share, including some good news. In regards to the distressed hospital loan program, as a reminder, this board approved a resolution authorizing our CEO to sign loan forgiveness documents last month should CHAFA and HCI approve our loan forgiveness application. The good news I have to share is that on May 18th, we were notified by CHAFA and HCI that the 1.8 million in loan payments that were due over the next 12 months have been forgiven. And that's different than where we were a year ago, where it was, postponed or delayed. This time it's actually forgiven. And so Jen Cruikshank, under the approved resolution authority, signed and returned the required documents. So that is complete and will be a huge relief to the budget next fiscal year. I did want to take a second to thank our team, this board, as well as CHAFA and HCI for their efforts and support throughout the process. I think at this point, we're one of only 5 rural hospitals that I know of that received the loans that has been approved for the next 12 months loan forgiveness. So I think that's a big accomplishment. Next, I want to share that the Palo Verde Hospital applied for a grant under AB 108, that also known as the Distressed Hospital Small Grant Program, which will provide $25 million statewide to potential applicants. We were notified of this opportunity when the bill passed, or shortly after the bill passing, like the next day on May 12th, with the due date 6 days later of May 18th. Our teams worked extremely hard to prepare and submit a grant application package, including fund usage narrative, required financial statements, financial ratio calculations, a 12-week projected operating budget, demonstration of high governmental payer and uninsured patient populations, as well as a few other items. We will keep you updated on the outcome, but I believe we put together the best application we could for a very fast-moving grant program, and I believe award notifications are expected sometime this week. Those are my updates for the month, and just want to thank you again for your time this evening.
Thank you. We'll pray for that. Make sure we get it. Okay,
Yes.
Next item, the agenda we have here, item 5.3. I turn the time over to intern.
Thank you, Board and Community, for having me. Again, I'm Aleka Clark. I'm the interim chief medical officer for Palo Verde Healthcare. The credential report today is to share, I think as Dr. Francisca highlighted, we have onboarded 25 emergency trained physicians to serve in our ER. We do have 4 providers who we have terminated privileges due to failure to reapply. Other than that, we are currently stable in all of our areas and looking forward to the future. And like we mentioned in last month, we already have the next several months of emergency room schedules published. And so we're eager to serve the community and ready for any questions.
Good, I'm speechless, all these reports. Thank you so much. Okay, item 6. We have the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda will be voted on in a single motion unless pulled for comment by a board member, department staff, or member of the public. Members of the public who wish to comment on an item listed on the consent agenda may do so by submitting a speaker card to the clerk of the board prior to the clerk of the board update. The board has a policy of limiting any speaker to not more than 2 minutes. Consent items that are pulled will be voted on separately in accordance with the standard meeting procedures. Switch consent agenda items.
Thank you, Madam President. We do not have any agenda items that have been pulled. Thank you.
Okay, so is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
I just wanted to clarify something on 6.2. I want to abstain from voting on that due to a potential conflict of interest.
Okay, so is that a second though?
Yes, I second it. Yes, I just wanted to make
Actually-
that clear.
Shouldn't you call it?
Director, sorry, since you already indicated you're abstaining, I would prefer you not second it, but you
Oh,
may,
okay.
you may.
Okay, then I'll second it.
Okay, thank you for that direction. I appreciate it.
Okay, so we'll call for the question.
Director Sargent,
I abstain.
Director Randall Crowe,
Aye.
President Garnica.
Aye.
So that passed by virtue of there being a majority of the quorum who voted.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, now we are on item 7. Business items. Okay, election of board officers. The Palo Verde Health District intends to conduct the election of board officers, which was not completed in December of 2025 as required by the district bylaws. According to the district bylaws, the election of board officers is to be conducted at the first regular meeting in December of each year. The election was not held in 2025 due to the district facing imminent closure and other urgent operational matters that required the board's immediate attention. The board intended to conduct the election of the board officers at last month's regular board meeting. However, due to the absence of a board member, the item was postponed and carried over to this month's agenda. I recommend extending the same courtesy to the board member not present today and continuing this item to the next month's regular board meeting in order to elect the vice president to serve until the next scheduled election in December. Do any of the colleagues have a comment?
I do. So because this is something that is according to our own bylaws and it's been going on for so long, and as of right now, we do not have a vice president, I would recommend that, yes, we do table it. However, I would also stipulate that as long as we make quorum, we have to make a decision on that, if that's okay.
So that would be for the next month's meeting?
For the next month's meeting, yes.
Okay, so you're gonna ask for a motion to table, subject to the recommendation of Director Randall Crowe, to bring it forth the next meeting and to move forward with the election of the vice president position.
Okay, so do I have a motion to table this item?
I make a motion to table the item at the recommendation of Director Randall Crowe. To table it with the stipulation that as long as we make quorum, that we do need to make movement on it to continue the operations report.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Call for the question.
Dr. Sardi,
Aye.
Dr. Randall Crowe,
Aye.
President Garnica.
Aye. Item 8, closed session. Ms. Gonzalez, is there any public comment regarding closed session?
No, ma'am.
I would now like to turn the time over to General Counsel Lena Wade to read us into closed session.
Yes, we are seeking to move into closed session regarding 8.1, hospital quality assurance report pursuant to Health and Safety Code, section 32155. And 8.2, conference with legal counsel regarding existing litigation pursuant to government code section 54956.9D1. And this is the Palo Verde Healthcare District bankruptcy.
Yeah, we will now go into closed session.
So with respect to item 8.1, hospital quality assurance report, there's no reportable action. With regards to 8.2, conference with legal counsel regarding the bankruptcy, there was no reportable action.
Meeting is now adjourned.
Perfect.